Yo, what up, friends?
Looking at him now that the talks have further progressed with JJ Redick now. So Mel, what are your thoughts on the Lakers search? And that's a perfect segue because we're going to get into LeBron here in a second. What are your thoughts on the Lakers search? They went through Dan Hurley. They had those issues with, and they looked at James Borrego, and now they're going with podcast partner in crime, JJ Redick. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm tired of thinking about it, to be honest with you, man. Because I know whatever they end up doing ain't gonna make no sense. They're not. I mean, every since the bubble, nothing has made sense. First of all, going into the bubble didn't make sense at all, right? So it was only right that the Lakers won it. Right. The in-season tournament didn't even make sense. So it was only right the Lakers won it. But everything they've done since the bubble, let's get rid of Dwight. Let's get rid of Danny Green. Let's get rid of all these dudes with playoff and championship experience who want to play defense, who want to sacrifice for the team. JaVale McGee, Dwight, Danny Green, Caldwell Pope, Kuzma. Let's get rid of all these dudes. Let's bring in Westbrook. Right. That made no sense. Right. They brought in Westbrook. Why? Because Brooklyn made a splash with some of the moves they did, and they didn't want to be left out the conversation as far as the media and the noise. So if y'all keep talking about Brooklyn because they got a big three with Harden, Kyrie, and Durant, and LeBron's head, hey, look, I know how to win back the conversation. I know how to get back in the limelight. Right, that's what LeBron and Clutch Sports and Rich Paul, they're very good at that. Notice every time it gets quiet and someone's talking about somebody else in the NBA, Rich Paul or LeBron jumps out with something very big, right? Whether he coming out and saying, right, Kyrie the most skilled player ever, or he's jumping out and saying Bronny can play better than, like, he don't want it to ever be quiet for too long without a discussion about him, right? So when he looked over at Brooklyn and seeing everyone talking about them, he said, let's make a splash. Let's go get Westbrook so we can have our big three with AD, LeBron, and Westbrook. So it didn't make basketball sense. And for somebody to say that he's a savant mentally, and for him to be on his podcast talking about how he could flip plays at 8 and how he was so good at this, and he knows that, I know he knew it wasn't a good fit basketball-wise for Westbrook. So why did he do it? He did it for the attention. He did it to be part of the conversation, and he knows the NBA will help push and market them if they can make themselves a story, right? He did it for the storyline. So that's what he did. So nothing is making sense, right? Nothing is going to make sense. They're just trying to make splashes. How can we make a splash? It ain't basketball sense they're talking about. So I know whoever they hire is just going to be for the storyline.
Yep.
It is what it is. I mean, why even fire Frank Vogel if you thought the bubble ring was the hardest ring in the world? That makes Frank Vogel a very good coach if he was able to coach y'all through and get y'all a bubble ring. So how did he get fired the very next season?
Well, Mel, this is one thing. I was listening to the show the other day. Shout out to Byline Sports, and Omar's on there with Flo, with Canteen, and Jake. And this is the thing. You're saying this is an asterisk for the Celtics, but we know it was an asterisk for the Lakers in the bubble. And they're saying, oh no, it wasn't. But what was the 50-game season with the Spurs? Was that 99? Was that not an asterisk also? You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't say because the bubble was an asterisk because the grind of the playoffs, we know the playoffs is a grueling thing. We just seen how everything ramped up as far as people not getting fouls the way and them allowing physicality during the playoffs and stuff like that. The playoffs was totally different, right? Especially this year. And then you're traveling, city to city. You got people are accusing Kyrie for not being able to handle the Boston crowd, and it was getting in his head because he had 3 of his worst games of the thing because he was playing for Boston. So crowd noise, traveling, the grueling back and forth of city to city and all that stuff, all of that is a grind, and that grind wasn't there for the bubble. So when you look at the Spurs 50-game season, yeah, the only asterisk is that they played less regular season games, but they still went through the same playoff grind. That's when it gets really tough. They went through the same grind in the playoffs. That's why we look at that and hold it in high regards, and we hold the bubble in low regards.
but that's extra grind that goes into the playoffs. You're more healthier in the playoffs if you're not playing.
That's a fair point. I agree with that.
Asterisk. That's why I put an asterisk by it, because
I agree. Right, but how many asterisks? So that means the Lakers got 2 asterisks because they not only had a shortened season, they also didn't have a grind gruesome playoff. so you can give the Spurs an asterisk, but you got to give the Lakers 2.
And I feel sorry for Anthony Davis doing that whole stretch, because I mean, he's a big dude. He got a big nose, so it's natural to get molested like that every time they played. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. It was a regular swab for that one. They had to get like, a big old handkerchief for that one. Test.
I'm shocked, G, the one who put the satin on your panties.
The snow is cooking tomorrow. I'm like, come on now.
So we've got comments pumping in. Some people are saying bubble bullshit. Some people are saying that it wasn't an asterisk. I obviously, as a Celtics fan, hate the Lakers, so you know what I would say. But so that's why I'm now giving my opinion. But I think that you just eloquently put it that and stated that when you don't have to deal with the rigors of travel, you don't have to deal with the opposing fans and all these other things that came into playing in a cushy, centralized Disney World environment, was conducive to helping to not making it as tough as a postseason.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and move it on. Let's go on to LeBron. I know, right?
Stupid.
So earlier, Mel, you mentioned, as we've been talking about LeBron and the Lakers now and the coach that they may go after and how everything's a disaster, how he's trying to put, round pegs in square holes, so to say. One of those could be drafting his son or having his team or a team he wants to be on draft his son. And so right now the reports are that, Rich Paul has been restricting, informational interviews and things to the Lakers and Suns. And now it comes out today that they're looking at that 3 other teams could possibly be looking at him. His draft stock has so widely varied because he's LeBron's son, when technically he had 1 year at USC where he played out of position and didn't play well at all, and has gone anywhere from a late second round to, at some point, he was a lottery pick, which I could not believe with my own ears and eyes. Tell us your thoughts on this kind of nepotism, the power that obviously LeBron yields, as he always has, and now does over this franchise.
The nepotism. You know what? If there is gonna be some nepotism, as long as it's out in the open like this, I'm cool with it. Now, if you're trying to act like it don't exist, but it does, and we know it is, and you gaslighting us, like, don't gaslight us and say I don't see what I see. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't have a 90% white male coaching audience for, I mean, not audience, but coaching population for the NFL, and then tell us it don't have anything to do with nepotism or something like that. So when it's like that, and you're gaslighting people, and you're telling us we don't see what we see, that bothers me. But if it's LeBron leveraging himself, if because he, at the end of the day, he's negotiating with the team and saying, hey, I'll play here and I sign here if you sign my son, which is the same thing Giannis did for Thanasis, right? We're a package deal. We're a package deal. But
that boy is the worst.
All the time. Yeah, but look, universities do that all the time. They see 2 brothers in high school. The younger brother is the better brother. So what do? Let's give the older brother a scholarship, so we have a leg on the competition at getting a younger brother. That's what they did with the Plumlees and Duke. That's what they did with the Zellers at Carolina, even though the younger Zeller went to Indiana. But let's get the older one in hopes to get the younger one, right? So
football does it all the time.
All the daggone time. So I mean, when it's a negotiation, because the other team can say no. When it's a negotiation,
that's true.
Other team can be like, nah, go kick rocks. We don't want to sign you that bad. But if they agree, okay, we'll draft your son if you sign with us, then hey, it is what it is, man. I'm cool with it.
Now, what do you think about the reports about Rich Paul or about the reports about Rich Paul restricting a lot of things to the Suns and Lakers? Does that portend that that's what LeBron is wants to do, either stay with the Lakers or possibly go to the Suns and do some sort of super team over there. And then Clubber D, I want you to obviously comment as well after.
I'll let Club go first and then I go.
Well, which question? Ahead, which Paul or the last one?
Either one, wherever you want to start.
Hold on. First of all, you skipped over my man comments. What up, Josh? 86 Boxing. Check him out. That's my man right there. Good insight on boxing. Check him out. Anyways, all right. Let's talk about Rich Paul. See, this is a problem. People were complaining that Jason Tatum and Brown aren't like superstars, I guess. So because they're not superstars, that finals team isn't that great. I don't care. It's a team sport. It's not a one individual sport. Okay. We're fixated on all these superstars, and LeBron and Rich Paul, people like that, are dictating what teams should do. Okay. LeBron, he's in the later part of his career. He should be, I understand he wants to say so in the organization. Rich Paul's popping off, for his client. But somebody's got to stand still, like, we'll do our vision, okay? We don't want to sign J.J. Redick. We saw what happened with Steve Nash in Brooklyn, okay? So why are we just going to sign someone because you want us to sign them? So I think that a lot of these organizations, which they're not going to do because they're going to listen to LeBron, they should put the foot down and say, nah, we're not going to do that and see what happens next. I mean, if they do that, what's the worst thing? What's the worst thing that can happen? They win. So, because it's not working now, he is a coach killer. Look at all the coaches that have coached for him that have all, walked the plank. So it is what it is when it comes to LeBron. Yeah. It's
and that's a great
12 coaches, 10 coaches. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's a great segue because that was actually going to be my next question. Was he has all this power? He's apparently directing teams to draft his son so that way he can play with him. Even if he comes out with the story came out today, oh, he's not saying that anymore. Okay, you already put it out in the universe. We already know it's there. When you have to deal with these, and we know LeBron crafts his narrative to fit whatever he wants. We know he has that much power. So much power that he has been considered a coach killer in the past. Do you consider him a coach killer, Mel?
I mean, yeah, but he's creating them too. People say the God of the Bible is a murderer, but if he's murdering what he created, who are we to judge to make him, man? That's just like you come to my house and be like, why are you cutting those potatoes that way? They my potatoes. This is how I want to cut them. So if I'm your creation, if you created me, I don't have the right to turn around, especially if I'm one of the creations. I don't have a right as a potato to look up and be like, why are you chopping that potato like that? So, yeah, if he's creating these coaches, yeah, give Darvin Ham a chance. Yeah, give Ty Lue. Hey, get rid of David Black. Give Ty Lue a chance. He's creating them. And when the good king giveth, the good king can take away. So, it is what it is, man.
and now he's giving his son a job. So, I mean, his son probably would have, what is that?
Was his son Tommy Boy? You know what I'm saying? Is he work for Callahan? He's going to go around.
He's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
Batman a little.
Yo, Tommy Boy, what a throwback. Jeez Louise, that's great. All right, so we got a couple questions here coming through in the chat. I think this was a joke, but if you want to take this one, Mel, do they re-sign Giannis even with his torn ACL? I think it's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to keep Giannis, they better re-sign him. I mean, once you go full retard, you can't come back and
you're so stupid. You
can't. I mean, come on, Milwaukee they already went full retard, man. So you can't come back and be like, now we not gonna keep the Nasses. Nah, keep the Nasses because that's how you keep Giannis. You better keep the Nasses, yeah.
How was that guy?
Right.
Look, I'm not speaking up for no team that went full retard, club. If you went full retard, man, we gotta make them stay full retard. Don't come back to don't
trust
come back.
The Suns are a chromosome away, so I trust. I know
You
so Dragon Bender, we drafted him. I mean, it just goes on and on. You know, we drafted Rajon Rondo, traded him to the Celtics, drafted Nate Robinson, traded him. All like it's just, I know it's Suns they've been there most of my life, so it is what it is.
Please don't cancel us out there. Instead, go ahead and subscribe at Ball and Buds and then at Man Down Sports, please.
Oh, yeah. I thought you can't say that word.
I don't know if you can or not. I'm just trying to get us not in trouble. That's all I'm